Alright, so I want to kind of preempt this video and say that obviously if you've got a really serious problem in this regard, there's only so much I can do in a YouTube video or a tweet or an Instagram post or an email for you guys on the list. There's only so much I can do because I don't know your specific situation without you giving me a load of detail. If you do have a real problem, which is life-changing, by the way, when you get it fixed. If you can't have sex, this is divorce material or incel material for you single guys. Like, it's a big deal. But a lot of if it's serious, you'll want one-to-one help, whether it's a doctor or I don't think doctors are really the best thing these days, but or a call with me or someone else. That, until then I can only give you general points, so that's what this video is. So there's a couple of things that have worked for clients in the past. I know this stuff works. There's stuff that's worked for me in the past, and the stuff that I know has worked for me, and it works with women, and it works with every single organism on the planet. So there's some very, very basic things that you've got to be doing. If you're not doing these, you can't really expect really good results. But so the first things that have worked for clients and have been complete game changers have been two things: fat loss and just generally cleaning up the diet. Because there's a lot of guys, seriously, who think they're 15 or 16% body fat, but they're really, really skinny fat, and that they're actually more like 20, 21, 22. That 20, 21, 22, especially if the diet isn't on point, that could be the problem right there. So that's one thing. Or especially if you're vegan or vegetarian as well, with 22% body fat, that could solve everything right there. Second thing that has definitely worked for clients is L-citrulline in the morning and in the evening. And if you want to take it a step further to increase absorbability, and it might potentiate things a little bit more, is combine the L-citrulline with citrulline malate. So that's morning and evening, and maybe have a little bit of watermelon as well. Don't have to go crazy. It just stacks very nicely. The citrulline in general definitely works. It improves blood flow, reduces inflammation, that kind of thing. Huge antioxidant. So that's another one that definitely works. A third one that I have noticed works for me, and it works, literally everyone notices this, is when you suddenly start spending a lot more time in the sun, significantly more time. And I try and recommend guys get 20 minutes of sunlight every morning if they're struggling with sleep, because the sunlight in the eyes, it sends all the signals into the brain for the correct timing of cortisol and adrenaline and all that, so that you can sleep better at night. But that's for sleep, which is helpful, but it's not the same thing as being able to perform. It's difficult to overdo the sun if this is your goal. Assuming you do it incrementally so that you don't get burned, like the typical Brit abroad on holiday, or I'm sure a lot of Americans are the same, in Mexico, Cancun, and they suddenly go from 0 sun to 10 hours a day, and obviously you get burned. But if you do it incrementally, it's very, very difficult to overdo the sun from a libido standpoint. The more the merrier, pretty much. And that is huge, because the sun drives life on Earth. And life on Earth needs to reproduce. It's kind of the whole point. So sunlight is absolutely huge. The fourth one that definitely works for is going to be very intense lower body training. Heavy squats, lunges, leg press, that kind of thing, but for higher reps is a big one. Things like HIT sprints, hill sprints, that can be a big one. And don't do both on the same day, but both of those can work depending on the circumstance. And it's especially true if you already have the body composition, if you're 15% body fat or less. The body fat thing is huge though, guys. You want to take it seriously, like actually measure it, either get a DEXA scan or calipers and do that. The caliper way is quite good if you get some good calipers and you're on a budget, because the DEXA is not the cheapest thing in the world. But take the body fat thing seriously, because it affects everything else. There's a couple of other things. There's raw garlic, there's dark chocolate. These things can work, but they don't have the same success rate or track record that the other things that I've just mentioned have. Do those 4 foundational things, and I would be surprised if you're still having problems. If you are still having problems, you need someone to actually really look at your situation, because you might be massively screwing something up that you can't see because you're so used to your own habits. Other thing, if you're vegetarian, vegan, B vitamins, make sure you're getting the B vitamins, because it's the biggest weakness in that diet. It's still not as good as meat, but it's better than nothing. Other than that though, that's it for now. Those are the big 4. Make sure you're doing them, and you'll have an easier time. It'll at least make a difference anyway. So I've linked the toolkit below, Testosterone Toolkit. It's the free guide. It talks about some of the foundational stuff I've just mentioned, but it goes on, for other factors for testosterone in general, not just libido. It's linked below. It's free. Click there, enter your email. See you in the next one.